The pain continues.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice 1995 World Cup commemorative jug. It reminds me of good times.
And yesterday was not a good time.
Yesterday was not a good time
It's
at all.
very painful.
Yes.
It's something I'd
It was
rather forget about.
excruciating.
Yeah.
I actually started cleaning up in the kitchen and stuff like that
I left.
to try
The TV room.
and just do anything else than watch more of the rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, do we just suck now, or I mean, is it just a whole new, like you were saying that the whole rugby world is turned on its head now?
Yeah. I think the Springboks and the All Blacks are kind of in the same place, which I hate saying.
Denial.
Which I hate saying is that there has to be something wrong in the camp. So my theory, and luckily my theories have proved to be right sometimes, is that the selection, if the selection confuses the players, if it confuses the entire rugby public in South Africa, and if it confuses Nick Mallet and other pundits, guys who really have coached the Springboks before and they have a lot of knowledge, then it will definitely confuse the players. So you can just see a scenario of Siya Kolisi, Oxenchair, former Sharks players like Lukanyu those guys getting together and saying, what the hell's going on? What must Fassi, just an example, what does Fassi have to do? How can you still pick Frans Steyn over a guy like that? The issue has been outside backs, has been wingers. I mean, if Gelant got injured, he was playing outside position in any case. If he got injured yesterday and you have Frans Steyn and Elton Jantjies on the bench, after 3 of our wingers getting injured, you're gradually losing your squad. If you keep picking a hooker who keeps stuffing up, and the players make little corners somewhere in a hotel room, and Marx and Skitshoff and whoever, and get together, and Kolisi or whoever, these guys, the senior players get together and they say, listen now, what are they doing? Someone's grinding.
Angle grinding.
Yes, on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, so that's my theory. Jock is not a well-spoken guy. I don't know. I'm sure Rassie takes over the motivation side. He does a lot of the talking. But if the players start losing a little bit of faith in Jacques, his post-match comment, I didn't see it myself, but where he said he doesn't know what happened.
Yeah.
That's no way to try and find solutions, is to say that you don't know. Like Jono said, if you lose a case and you tell your boss, as a lawyer, if you lose a case and you tell your boss, I don't know why I lost the case, I mean, I don't think he's just going to smile and say, okay, well, carry on with what you're doing. There will be repercussions. He's picking on the bench Elton Jantjies as a second fly-half, while there's fly-half cover in the match in the form of Damian Willemse, and Frans Steyn also as fly-half cover, inside centre cover, and fullback back cover. You're sitting in the 23 squad, you're sitting with 4 fullback guys who can cover fullback, and no one who can cover outside centre as a specialist or wing as a specialist, and 4 guys who covers fullback. Can they please explain to us what is the reasoning in that? You're sitting with 3 fly-half options. No, 4. You're sitting with 4 fly-half options in the match, and no one that can cover the outside channel as a specialist. What's the reasoning in that?
Russ, I read an interesting opinion, is that it's like Rassie and Jacques maybe did not expect the Bulls and Sharks and Stormers to do as well as they did in URC, and that there were actually players coming through. They thought they were going to be stuck with the same group, because that's what it seems like. Why are we still picking Frans Steyn and Elton Jantjies and those guys, and guys in general who aren't really performing when you've got I shudder to say this, Ivan Reus, because we're not huge Stormers fans, but
Van Roos, Ulrich Louw, Marcel Coetzee,
those were the exact ones that the writer mentioned.
Yeah. Look, I think it's a well-known fact that you need a very good mixture of youth and experience when it comes to winning big tournaments. If you sit with a squad of 30 pluses, we saw it in 2015 when Heineke Meyer felt that he lost out when Peter de Villiers was the coach. He sort of in his mind felt that he should have been the coach in that time already, because that was the time when the Bulls were at their absolute best and he was the Bulls coach. He still picked a squad of players who were how many years older for the 2015 World Cup. They were 5-6 years older than when they were in their prime, and we just fell short. The Japan game didn't help, and this and that. A few things didn't help us, but we were just not quite there. I mean, we lost 2018 in the semi-final to the All Blacks. We were just a little bit short. We just needed some youth to spark something, and I think we're almost in that same place right now.
It's maybe disbelief in the quality of the players playing locally. Not is disbelief like you don't.
Look, like when you're a coach. I mean, I only coach schoolboy rugby, but your team is it's like your kids, and I assume for a coach it's like your brother. So going to your brother Dwayne Vermeulen and telling him, listen, you're not part of my plans anymore. Decided that you're not part of my plans anymore. I told you all along you're going to play in the 2023 World Cup, but I've now decided that you're not. You're also thinking, am I going to lose my squad? Is everyone going to turn against me if I do that? There's be great sadness within the camp, and it will cause a bit of panic as well. So what do you do? In that, maybe the call should have been made 6 months ago, before Wales came. You should have said, okay, Frans Steyn, Dwayne, sorry, you're amazing guys for the Springboks, but we need these youngsters to come through, and they need to play a part in some capacity. Jasper Wiese not being involved at all in the match day 23. Are they resting him? Just tell us what's happening, so that we know. Because for me, having no option on the wing and four at fly off, 4 options at fullback and a bunch of inside centre options, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but Hansi, did Australia do anything well?
Yeah, we're going to get to the actual match. Yeah, Australia came out of the blocks really, really well. They secured the first kickoff, and it immediately gave them the momentum. If you have that ball, we see it so many times. We see it's Irish Ireland, they get the ball and they just come out with huge intensity in the first couple of minutes, and it's exactly what they did. You're half asleep, you just came onto the field. Probably a team that's a little bit deflated, a little bit down, a little bit confused about
playing on a cricket field. What's going on?
Playing on a cricket field. They're away from home. The crowd's going nuts, and they scored immediately. And immediately you think to yourself, "Oh, here we go again," Yeah. And then we made a lot of play, the Springboks, without getting points.
Yeah, but that's something we've seen throughout this season. We saw it against the All Blacks. We saw it against Wales. It's like we've seen it over many years. Not since Fabana. We just don't seem to have quite the finish. Mapimpi is a great finisher.
Yes,
but he can only do so much.
Yeah, you need a bit more patience. You need the calm heads. You need to make the exactly right calls. There's so many great line breaks. Oxenche, Lode Jager.
Your handling needs to be good.
Too many knock-ons. Too much of that little dance move that Faf does. This side, that side. No. Fourie Priya, it took him under a second to make the right pass. You need someone. I think scrum half is an issue, because I don't think if Jaden Hendrickse has that either. You need someone who can make that correct call in the shortest amount of time. Whether you're going blind, whether you're doing the shallow pass or the deep pass, what you're doing. And Pollard doesn't help. I've had an issue with it for a very, very long time, where he stops dead before he passes. because you lose your momentum. A fly-off is supposed to get the ball. Morné Steyn did it so well. They said he wasn't a running fly-off. He did it so well that he just gave a step and he just passed the ball on the move. Pollard stops dead when he passes the ball, and it puts your centers in a difficult position because you're not actually going forward, which means they often get the ball standing still as well. But that's not something that's ever going to change. I mean, the guy's been playing Springbok rugby for how long? He's always going to do that.
Yeah, he actually plays more like a centre.
Yeah.
And
if you look at the other guys, the attack, Australia, they need very small moments to score tries. They don't need this constant build up. They can create from very little. The All Blacks do it as well, but we'll get to the All Blacks. There's obviously issues there as well. So they really did it brilliantly, and they've got new young guys coming through. That the flanker who scored, is it a flanker or is it the guy who scored the 2 tries for Australia? In any case, whichever position he plays, he's new. We don't watch a lot of the Pacific rugby, the Super Rugby, so we don't know the guys. But I mean, that's a young guy who scored 2 tries. He took over from Michael Hooper, from one of the Australian greats, and he had a great match. And we need someone like that. The Pieter-Steph du Toit Kolisi Vermeulen combination is now old. I hate saying that.
It's terrible. But what one must say about Australia is they've got some superstars in the making in certain positions.
Yes. I mean, without Kerevi, that Len Ikitau, yes, we couldn't tackle that guy. You know, he beats the first tackle every time he gets the ball. He gets you over the advantage line. He gives you go forward ball. And with Nic White, we'll get to Nic White as well, gets you extremely quick service, and you've got your defense backpedaling all the time. It's like we're always playing in front of the defense, and they are ready and they're lined up because Faf is too slow. We're not getting that quick ball.
Is he too slow, or is he being told to do that? To be slow.
Any player gets certain instructions, but a scrum half gets your second phase going, and when it's happening there on the field, it's up to him who he passes to. He doesn't get told at a ruck between the 13-meter line and the center field, you have to wait slowly and pass here. No, you check where the players are. They call over to this side, or someone runs around to the short side. Do you choose to pass to that player who goes to the short side, or do you pass to your fly off?
It's just at the Lions, I mean, they were all about running rugby and speed of service.
Yeah.
And Faf was integral to that team.
Yes.
So I don't understand what's happened from those days to now. I'm not saying, it's possible that he got old, but it's just weird.
Yeah, I think it's just a lack of confidence at the moment. Confidence in team selection, lack of belief, because we're doing the same thing over and over again without getting over the try line. Like Lewitt and those guys, they got tackled 5 meters out. It must have been 4 or 5 occasions when we were 5 meters out and it didn't end in a try. And the more that happens, you just lose confidence. You just feel like you're never going to get over. And then your fly half misses 2 kicks, and it just makes it worse. And you just feel like, what the hell do we have to do to get points in this game? And Australia fed off that brilliantly, and they just gained in confidence as we lost more and more confidence in the game. I
don't believe that all is lost, though. I mean, if Pollard had gotten those kicks over, if we had gone for kicks at posts at times, it would have been a different game at the end, you know?
The final score was 25-17. So if you just name the 6 points for the 2 kicks.
Yeah. Going for the sideline because we had missed those other kicks.
Exactly. So we stopped kicking for goal.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to the Argentina game, because that is actually very important if you look at the way Argentina played against New Zealand. Let's say a penalty try from a Korobiti no arms on Mapimpi. That's another 7 points.
Margins are fine.
Yeah. So then you win the game.
Yeah.
Because that's 13 points.
And everyone thinks like the Springboks are heroes.
That's 13 points. If Mapimpi scores that try, how much confidence does that give the team from the next kickoff when you start playing again? If he scores the try, look, it's weird that they didn't have a look at it, because it was a no arms tackle. He flew into the tackle. Mapimpi went flying through the air. It's dangerous.
It was like a clothesline tackle, but with your shoulder.
Yeah, he sort of just, there was no attempt to wrap.
Yeah.
He basically charged into him to do anything to stop him from, and it was the reaction, so clever. The reaction convinced the referee, because it was high five. Something amazing had happened. The crowd went wild. It was like the best try-saving tackle ever. And he awarded it, and he thought, yeah, in the back of a referee's mind, you're like, this moment was so huge, I cannot go back and disallow this now. I can't give a penalty try here. It's in Australia, it's in Adelaide. The whole team high-fived and went nuts. And he saw it, and he was like, oh, shit, I'm not going to even look at that again.
Because they didn't. It was like immediately.
No, I mean the entire world knows that wasn't a tackle. It's not even worth talking about.
And then Faf immediately after that, Faf just assaulting Nic White.
Yeah,
I'm ashamed of Faf's behaviour. The mighty claw of Faf.
Yeah. Look, if the game's going towards reacting to players' reaction, then we're in trouble. Then we're in big trouble, because we're seeing it more and more with guys competing for the high ball, and the Springboks were trying. Damien Darlenda got shoulder charge over the touch line on his ear, and he was just rubbing his ear on the big screen, and completely ignored.
Look at it.
You know?
I mean, and the sideline ref is
it's a red card. It was with force, a shoulder on his head. It's a red card offence.
Yeah.
Just completely ignored. It was sort of off the ball. It was over there. The refs miss these things. It's okay. It's okay to miss things, but in the end, it will cost you a game, because you get more and more deflated.
And if it had been here, the crowd would have gone ballistic, and then they probably would have looked at it. So it's just, the officiating is just crazy.
Yeah. Look, we had a little discussion before we started with this video, because we really try hard to be objective. We want to talk to a worldwide audience, and I think South Africa's our own worst enemy. We complain so much that all of these years of always complaining and focusing on the ref as possibly turn the refs more against us. And you guys must help us out. Please comment at as much as you can. But it just feels like they're against us.
There are some blatant things. I don't know if they're against us so much as it's like they choose to not look at, because you see that with many games.
Yes.
Like I mean, there was a recent game between England and Ireland where the English lock went off for hitting, during a tackle, hitting the other guy on the head or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it happens in all other games.
Yes.
So maybe we mustn't think, the refs are against us.
No.
It's just poor. Like
maybe the standard is not where it should be.
You've got a TMO.
Yeah.
Or a whatever. What do you call it?
Yeah. The TMO should say, Mr. Williams, I think we should have another look.
Yeah.
And if he says, no, I'm happy with it, you should say, listen, we need to look at this, because this is your reputation, Paul Williams. If you miss this, you're going to be all over social media, as you are today on a Sunday after a big rugby match.
Yeah.
The whole world is tearing you apart, calling it the worst refereeing decision ever, and this and that.
But it calls into question that TMO who brought on the Faf thing. So you hear him.
Exactly.
You hear him on the mic being like, "There's been contact with the face of, I don't know. He sounded almost Australian, but he's probably a New Zealander. I don't know."
Yeah, look, you're not allowed to punch a guy.
No.
But I think in the way that the sport rugby is, if you go for the ball and your fingertip touches a guy's chin or something, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No.
A lot of things happen. I mean, guys push each other in the face in rugby, and it's not a red card or yellow card every time that happens. Guys grab each other by the collar. They have each other in a headlock after the whistle, and the ref just says, leave it out of the game.
Yeah.
That's all. So it's made a mockery of the thing, and I feel sorry for Nic White. I don't know what you should do. You should play a different sport. Go play soccer. Yeah, it's
You
ridiculous.
should be a soccer player. Let's go with that.
Yeah, you should be a soccer player. I mean, you don't belong in rugby if that's the way you're going to act. He stopped playing.
Yeah.
He didn't wait for the whistle. He stopped playing and he started falling around and stuff. I mean, what's that all about? No, play rugby. Be hard. Be a man. Be tough. Be a tough rugby player guy. No, can't use.
I think the main thing is be honest.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking is honesty.
Yeah.
You did not get hurt.
Mm-mm.
That's what it's about.
No, nothing happened.
It's not about toughness or any of that. It's about
it's dishonest.
you're bringing the game into disrepute.
What would Nigel Owens have said?
Nigel Owens would have said, "This is not soccer."
Yeah, it's exactly what he would have said. He would have said, I don't think he would have even given a penalty. He would have said, get up.
He may have given a penalty against him.
Yeah, he would have said, you're making a fool of yourself, get up.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, then, then for 10 minutes, I think if the game was 10 minutes longer, the Springboks would have won. I mean, you had Vincent Koch, clean line break, passing inside. Kwagga Smith was amazing. Kwagga Smith needs to start.
Yeah, he has to. He's
Forget
got the
about
speed.
his size and his bulk and stuff. That guy plays 20 kilograms heavier than he is, the way he plays.
And he has for many years.
It's just that one change, the way he plays, will change the entire makeup of the Springboks. And if you have Fussy as a backup maybe, or the youngster Kainan Moody coming in, but changes, there needs to be brave things need to happen.
And it could be like career making moves. I know it could be career breaking as well, but like a guy like Kainan Moody or Fussy now, you bring him in and he makes an impact.
Yeah.
Like from the get go, imagine.
Look at what Yankees did for scrum half Yankees. There's Herschel. Look at what he did for
his
us.
First 2 games.
When he was brought in out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They just said, this guy's got X factor. Let's put him straight into the Springboks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought if we could just start with that a little bit earlier, but that often happens when the game's already gone.
Yeah, but it's also a thing with the Springboks is it seems like we're too afraid to play expensive.
Yeah. You can do it. Yes, Lewitt, Oxenchair, so many line breaks from our forwards. Even Gelant, Damien Willemse. Damien Willemse made an amazing line break when he loses the ball.
You know what?
In contact.
Maybe it's a case of them, the coaches holding back this, like expensive game plan.
The way it's being
for next
coached.
year.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe specifically for next year. I don't know. To hold back something for next year.
That's a bit too clever. Okay, and then we're just going to talk a little bit about the New Zealand game.
Yeah.
New Zealand Argentina, which is the same. I think they're on a roller coaster. I think they're a little bit lost though.
Is it them or is it World Rugby that's all over the place? Like all test teams, are we at that place now where football is, where it's kind of like many people, when going to the World Cup, many countries can actually compete and possibly win the World Cup.
Which is a great thing for the sport. I mean,
I want to win. I want to know before I
we want the Springboks to dominate.
Just win.
But look, Argentina's the team on the up in the Rugby Championship at the moment.
Yeah, it's too bad that it's sort of the whole Super Rugby thing is splintering, or has splintered.
Yeah, I think it's the same with the All Blacks.
Factor.
No, look, it must be coaching. It must be a belief.
Some of those young players look like they're wings.
Yes, no, they're amazing. They're playing amazing.
Fantastic. And is it Boffelli,
made all his kicks.
Made all of his kicks.
All his kicks.
Hard and not easy kicks.
No, difficult kicks. And they kept going for the penalties. That's what I wanted to say. They kept kicking for post, chipped away at the New Zealand lead, and New Zealand scored 2 amazing tries. The commentators were going nuts. This is what we're talking about, the absolute confidence that they play with and stuff. And then they scored 3 points in the second half. Yeah. The All Blacks at home, scoring 3 points and a half.
Yeah,
Are you mad?
I mean,
what is that? What is that?
Stat that they generally score more than 30 points.
Yes.
Yeah. To beat the All Blacks, you have to score
more than 32 points.
30 something points.
Yeah. They scored 3 points in one half of rugby. It's madness.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. But making too many silly mistakes. There's that belief that confidence is gone. 1 week they're great, the next week they're crap, which worries me for the Springboks as well.
Yeah, but at least we're not on that level of a roller coaster. But this championship is still long. We still have to play in Argentina.
Yes. Next week, Australia.
It's gonna
I
be
mean,
hectic.
I just think of it man for man. We shouldn't be losing to Australia. It's because there's something else going on. Please make the brave changes for the second game.
Well, let's look at it this way. Ireland All Blacks series.
No.
The first game was like, what is it, 48-17.
Exactly.
That the Irish lost. So maybe we need to just calm down and just look at it soberly. And maybe it's a case of 1 week you can be amazing and next week you can lose.
Definitely.
Like, maybe that's how it is.
Argentina lost their first game to Australia. They were hardly in the game as well.
Ireland's the number one team in the world, and they lost by 30 odd points
To the All Blacks.
to the All Blacks, who just lost to Argentina.
Yeah.
So
To the All Blacks has only won 2 games in 6.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a new world, and we need to actually embrace it. And maybe we must be more like John Kerwin.
We
It's
don't
just
like this new world.
Actually, I'm really
Happy we
glad
lose.
we lost.
Oh. No, next week again is going to be.
So glad.
It's going to be extremely interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to beat Australia. I don't know why I'm saying that, but
Because no one expects us to.
no. And I think Kwagga Smith is going to start.
Kwagga's going to start. They're going to fly Fassi right now. Fassi is sitting at home. They're calling him in. He's going to play on the wing.
Is Colby not fit? Huh?
He doesn't need his jaw to
Who needs a jaw?
play rugby.
You know? Although, apparently, if certain fingers do touch your jaw, it immediately splinters into a million pieces.
Yes.
So maybe the jaw is like,
It's important.
it's very important. To ask Nick, it's more important than a huge mustache.
Just give you like a cricket helmet.
Maybe Nic White should play like in a huge brace that covers his face,
Yeah.
so that he doesn't have to collapse
That guy's bubble boy.
when someone touches it with a finger.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's what he needs. In any case, enough about that.
Anyway,
Yeah, our friend from England, Alan, has also been kind enough to share a few views. So a bit of an interesting, a bit of a
incorporate
different. Yeah, I'm gonna
next week's video.
incorporate him into a few of our chats. So yeah, he's going to share a few things with you guys now, which is a slightly different angle, and just sharing his views too on the match. Cheers.
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's Alan here, helping the guys out from Sports Stats with some views from the South African game this morning. Obviously, a massive disappointment to lose the way they did, but there's a few questions going around on social media, and I just thought that I'd get my wife to ask a couple of them, and I'd try and answer them to the best of our ability, because we all know what we're facing at the moment, and I just thought we'd some words of encouragement into what I think they're trying to do with the coaching setup. So let's see if we can help them out a little bit.
Okay, so as we all know, Australia beat the Boks 25-17 this morning. What do we think went wrong in the first 20 minutes of the game?
I think one of the main things that we're struggling with at the moment is just our rhythm and consistency. I'm always a fan of taking points as soon as you can in a game. I think anytime you travel anywhere, it's a good idea to try and get as much continuity as possible. So let's pass the ball around to all the players, get everyone to have a touch of the ball, make sure you clear your lines as soon as possible, and then your big set pieces and set plays, you want to try and lock them in as soon as possible. So you want to win your first line out, you want to get into the scrums as quick as possible, and you want to impose yourself on the opposition. And I feel like today, from the moment there was a kickoff, we were scrambling for the first 15 to 20 minutes. We just couldn't get our foot into the game.
So in previous games, and Dialendi have been an important duo. They barely got an opportunity to get into the game today. How badly do you think that affected us?
I think it affected us tremendously. I think Am's a real game changer. I just think that the gameplay that we need at times with our kicking the ball to them, I don't think we utilize it as effectively as we have done in the past. We know the game plan can work, but we've got creative players. And what they've started to do now is block all of our catches and all of the people following up on our kicks. So it's becoming a less effective game plan, and the kicking is too deep, and I think it's too haphazard at the moment. And you need to get, like I said in my previous answer, continuity, get the ball going to the teams and the players and your centres and your wings as quick as possible. And again, we didn't really do that.
Pollard had a bit of a shocker today. He wasn't on his usual form. You mentioned the travel earlier. SA haven't travelled for a couple of years now. How badly do you think the timing would have affected the play today?
I think it was a massive change for them to be travelling. I think the amount of handling errors we had compared to them, I think we had something like in the end of the first half, or I think about 50 minutes in, I think we had 9 handling errors to their 1. Obviously, Pollard had an off day with the boot. But again, I think it goes down to rhythm. We know that there was a bit of a delay getting over to Australia, but there needs to be planning, and we need to be able to adjust to that. And it was our first game over for a few years, so we need to bear that in mind as well, and just go easy on the guys, because we know we should still be back in the team and supporting them.
So the impact off the bench completely changed the game today. Do you think the starting 15 were the right choice?
I think that the coach is dealing with things that they struggle to do. A lot of incidents. I'm not going to mention it here on the video. We don't have time for that. But there are certain things that they have to deal with. I think Mark should probably have started at this point. I think he's the world's best hooker. I think that Faf hasn't quite got up to speed. I think there's a lot of changes that they're doing from game to game, and that just breaks up the continuity a little bit. Definitely when Jaden Hendrickse and obviously even Elton Jantjies got the backline moving a little bit in the last 10 minutes or so, that really helped our continuity, and we looked a lot more dangerous, and we started scoring tries. And I think that's one of the key things. But we need to bear in mind, we can't just keep changing players in between games like that, because it does disrupt the flow, and it does disrupt the continuity a little bit.
So the 6-2 bench was switched for a 5-3. Do you think that's going to be the plan moving forward? And did it help us? The last few games obviously have hindered us quite a lot with the backline injuries. Do you think that was the right way to go?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they're going to stick with this bench, so that the split they had today, the 5-3 split. I think it's a good option if you've got Willie Leroux on the bench. I'm not sure Francois Steyn was up to the standard. They have this habit now, and they've used it in a few games, of playing players who are coming off injuries and then throwing them into games and putting them on the bench. And just maybe there was a cause to, with the 5-3 game plan, which I think is possibly the way going forward, because a few teams are catching on to us now with the 6-2 splits. And when the bench came on today, it did give us a bit more variety. So I think the new split, 5-3, is a more effective split going forward.
You mentioned Willie Leroux. Damien Willemse has had a great game. Do you think he's the new 15?
I think so. I believe that Damien Willemse is really starting to find his feet. I think he's creative enough. There's a few incidents. I think the guys at Sportstat mentioned it last week or the week before, about he just has the last finishing of his game, which he just needs to work on a bit. But he's been an amazing player for the Stormers throughout the URC. And he's been really, really good and consistent for us as well. So I think we need to keep him on board. That's not to say there isn't a space for Willie in the squad. I think he's matured quite a lot in the years we've had him. And I know he takes a lot of critique from fans and, the South African fans in general. But we need to back these guys. We know we can be very, very creative. And I must say that even today, I don't think Elton Jantjies had a very bad game when he came on. I'm a massive Lions fan. The guys at Sportstats know, Hans and John know that, but I just think that he did make a difference when he came on.
So many teams are stopping our mauls. Surely we need to have a new plan of attack for the World Cup next year. I
don't know if we should keep on just mauling it as much as we have. The statistics before the game was something like South Africa have mauled, this is off of 2 Cents Rugby, have mauled 20 times in the 2 matches so far, and all the other teams combined had mauled 23 times. When we start mauling, we could try a little bit of variation, maybe try throw to the front of the line out, maybe try and pass off the top scrum to the scrum half and get the back line moving a little bit quicker. We do need to be a bit more varied in that regard, without a doubt.
We left a lot of points out there today during the yellow card. 3 line-out attempts, sucked 5 minutes out of the yellow card. should we not really be taking the points at these opportunities?
I believe wholeheartedly that if you get a yellow card, it's best to start off with 3 points and then take the 10 minutes and start attacking. So then you start off with a 3-point gap and then you take it from there. What we did today was we got the yellow card and then spent 5 minutes opting for scrums and using up that valuable time. And we all saw when it got to the scrums and the mauls, we weren't quite as dominant as we thought. There's not a South African fan out there who honestly believes that Australia can match us for power. So we have to start questioning why our scrums and our mauls are not functioning like they should be. It has to be a concern going forward. And game management. This is an issue which has plagued us in the past. Trying to use our time a little bit better than what we have been. Like there's a yellow card, then you're opting for scrums. You're opting for lineouts when you could take the 3 points and start again. And we need to look at that as an option, because I just believe it'll be a much more effective use of our time and of the points.
So there was another pretty important game that happened today. A small country called Argentina just happened to beat New Zealand at home for the first time. How good did that feel?
That felt amazing. To know that our brothers in black are also struggling the way we are, that's amazing. It's good to see that we're not the only ones, and I think it'll make both South Africa and New Zealand much stronger. Having watched both games, Argentina were amazing. For what would we do with a kicker like Boffelli in our team on the wing? He was so consistent. The All Blacks were giving away way too many penalties. They need to learn from that. And I just feel like the games that were played today were a real bonus. And all credit has to go to Argentina for the amazing game they played. It was absolutely awesome to watch the game. And it's really, really good to see that they're improving, because we know what they're like. Unfortunately, with the Super Rugby situation, they've been chucked out of that now. It's good to see that they're performing at a better level. We all love seeing that.
So obviously we have to play Australia once again, but Argentina are going to be knocking on the door. How do you see the next 3 games panning out?
I believe that the next game is going to be played at a rugby stadium, which will help us. I think the Australians managed to disrupt our flow entirely by playing on a cricket pitch. The ball was bouncing on a much harder ground, lots of different angles, and I think it really helped their flow and it disrupted us quite a lot. I see us winning next week, and I see us winning at least one game against Argentina, probably the home game. I think us beating Argentina away would be some achievement. I think they're going to be very, very close games. And then we just have to see what happens with Argentina next week. I can't see them winning again. So by the end of next week, we should have all teams having won 2 and lost 2 again. And then we just have to see what happens with Australia and New Zealand, because I think that potentially the winner will probably come out of those 2 teams. Or if we can really thrash, which is not something we've been doing in recent time, Argentina, and the last game against Australia, we obviously stand a chance. But we have to give credit to Argentina for the way they've played and the intelligence that the Australians have been playing with.
And just one final thought on the Faf yellow card, that little tickle that caused him the yellow. I think he took it like a champ. What were your thoughts?
I think Nic White is lucky to still be able to play. It was horrific. I think it was obviously justified. The yellow card was totally, it was a horrific act by Faf. I can't believe that I imagine there'll be a lengthy ban, and I'm so relieved to see that Nic White's okay, because we won't want to see any serious injuries in the game. And these shoulder charges, high tackles, and those scrapes across, we all know it's horrific. It's horrific. So let's hope that he's okay, that he can carry on playing, and Faf just has to take his punishment like a man at this point and just get on with it, because we can't have play like that in international rugby. So I think that's it for now. Those are the main questions that we came up with. I hope the guys appreciate the video, and that the guys at Sports Stats will agree with some of the stuff I'm saying. I'm not sure if they will. Hopefully going forward, we'll have some more input for you on the URC as well, and the rest of the internationals going forward. So like, subscribe to the guys at Sports Stats and on their YouTube channel, Sportstats.co.za. Check out their Instagram and follow them. And I'm sure if you guys have any ideas for videos going forward, let them know and let us know. So thank you very much. Is that it? Okay, I think I'm going to go be sick now. Thanks, guys.